this is the map where I'm expecting 100 Thieves to look dominant on, to be honest. Like, Ascent is their best map right now throughout stage 2, and not only are they cooking on defense, they're in fact cooking more on the attack. Like, a 71% win rate of attacking rounds is crazy on Ascent, a map that is touted to be so defender-sided because of the small choke points that you have to break through, and also having dominant results up against teams like FlyQuest Red, like YFP. Those were stomps, like a 13-5, a 13-6. That tells you so much about the comfort from 100 Thieves, and this is, I think, the perfect map for them to bounce back off of such a close loss there on Lotus.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
It will feel like a map had kind of just slipped through their fingers right there on the opener, but instant regain potential on a map like you mentioned that's been their bread and butter. Avery gonna step up, deny the spy cam, and also get a look that this is Melia plus a couple extra. Great grab net coming through, but the decoy actually allows Avery a chance to reset. The counter reveal, unbelievable. So Avery's still alive and somewhat kicking, but 100 Thieves force their way on, find the elimination, and we'll get to work on the plan.
Spike planted.
The fact that Avery lived for that long is actually just insane in the first place. Aerial now to put a little bit of that pressure onto the flank. Interactions that we're going to expect to see out of Aerial, I think, for the remainder of this map. This crunch towards B main has been great.
Marceline able to tally their first elimination in this match. 100 Thieves still out trading on site. Taurus is low on health, but wait a second. Jazz nearly caught with a grab net out. We'll slow down this retake attempt quite considerably.
No escape.
Counter will come through. In the corner, Jazz, still gets one, and then Marceline saves a life, not traded, and 100 Thieves continue to dominate the pistols.
That is honestly kind of crazy. The fact that Jazzy manages to survive for that long, like a 3K for the deadlock, is insane work, but a great execution out of 100 Thieves. I think we saw the Izia from Ghost Gaming that walked down towards mid, but the scale up was so fast towards that B site, they weren't quite able to catch them by their coattails. Now into the anti-eco, a bit more of a spread default approach on the side of 100 Thieves, trying to just check out to see where maybe some other aggression might come out from Ghost Gaming here on their eco round.
Kind of a similar story that we saw in map number 1. Post a pistol win. 100 Thieves just going to make sure nothing crazy is happening. And honestly, with classics, not much craziness could occur even if it wanted to. At least not off the get-go. Maybe an opportunity to do something with this heavy stack at B. Slandy just going to get to work scoping it out, but really only is able to witness that B main is open.
Yeah, I mean, for the rest of Ghost Gaming, they're trying to play as quietly as possible, not reveal any of that information. And 100 Thieves are just waiting to see if Ghost will give them anything right now. A lot of patience now for mid reclear, especially after that walk down towards mid we saw during the pistol round. And a full shift over towards this A site. That wine positioning is going to be super important here for Kataris. You even have Lydia going late after the remainder of the team manages to take tree.
Yeah, that is just a sheriff though in hands for Lydia, so not much in terms of a weapon upgrade potentially there. Doesn't make a difference. Clean one tap from Lydia. And with smoke blocking off heaven, it'll really supplant any potential defensive retake to come through, as 100 Thieves will very comfortably be set up in the post plant that they want.
Yeah, we've seen both these teams are more than happy to just like allow the spike to run its time though on these eco rounds. Try and deny those alt orbs to the enemy and not allow them to scale up that ultimate economy as quickly.
Melia hunting. And the hunter becomes the hunted very quickly. We'll just back away. And we will likely not see much other, at least, conflict between teams in the rest of this round number 2. So 100 Thieves, again, kicking things off on a strong foot. As you mentioned, though, their offensive side has been exquisite. So, I won't say it's par for the course, but it is appreciated if you're a 100 Thieves fan.
Definitely is. Like, there's no going wrong with what side you start on. I think you see a lot of teams where they might struggle a lot on the attack, and then once they swap to defense, they can make like a comeback on Ascent. It feels like that tends to be a lot of the storyline on this map is like that heavy defense side, but for 100 Thieves, it does not matter which side they start off on. 4-1 split this time around, leaning towards this A side. We saw that early control for Wine of a Kataris in that first round, or in that second round just now. Steps to be made, and the plan revealed in a sense. It's up to 100 Thieves to actually
Barrier
clear.
deployed.
Early barrier going to be placed by Ghost. 100 Thieves just going to use the Aldrin to get over the top of it and see if they can pick apart a little bit of this defense. And they'll see no one's close, so we can deny it. They're going to force out maybe a grab net or two, as here comes a little bit of, again, initiation utility to see if they can force anything from Ghost. Not going to happen, and everything will reset with 1 minute 5 on the clock.
Yeah, that's one shock dart expended there as well, coming out from Slandy. Not finding any purchase on the sound barrier, or on the sound sensors there from the deadlock. And all of this cat sound can be heard as well. Is Kataris going to take a peek through the smoke? Maybe a timing.
Thinking about it, and whoa, beautifully predicted Ash. Kataris will find 2. Marceline will trade it out, but damage dealt. And yeah, Melia from this position at B main really cannot do too much, and you don't really have any information inside of A. I mean, really, 100 Thieves are kind of paddling upstream here as they try to work their way onto either of these 2 sites.
Yeah, leaning towards A, knowing that with the deadlock down, the sound sensors won't be up, and unlikely to see that Cypher set up on this side here as well. Ghost Gaming currently split 2-2 across both sites.
Here comes the play. Lydia for the opener, cannot turn it into 2.
10
Marceline,
seconds left.
what do you have for us? Whoa! Nearly an opportunity for a freebie, but we'll work on the plan. Has to pop off of it, and Avery's there to meet the final 2. So no bonus this time for 100 Thieves. Ghosts get there first.
Keep yourself together.
Avery took a great timing there through the dark cover just by the skin of their teeth as well in that fight up against Marceline. And able to just like take the round for themselves, and this was all opened up by Kataris going for that engagement towards mid, taking the timing on the dark cover, trying to catch the players of 100 Thieves off guard and succeeding in doing so.
Well, now our full purchase round. Odin Operator already in hand for Ghost. I think those that are familiar with Ascent, when those 2 weapons show up on the defense, the playbook starts to become super locked in. But Edith is going to allow themselves to be revealed. On the flash to try to get the peek off, but still, while blind, Edith just hits the trigger, connects, and it's first blood for Ghost.
Edith is so cold. They always know the timings when it comes down to just overstaying the perfect amount of time for that pick. Blind shot through the wall as well, trying to do a little bit of damage, while the rest of Ghost towards this B side aim to bunker on site, play turtled for these trips.
Yeah, and this is 100 Thieves just trying to pull the defense around, maybe try to find something, but no. Inside B, the defense too solid. Melia, some trouble there as little pop flash comes through to push off, make sure there is no skill deep, but this double route through mid could be caught catching this Ghost defense off guard, and so it is. And now you're split 3-1. The defense leads to a chance here for 100 Thieves to still bounce this back.
Edith is fairly confident, though, that there wasn't the timing to actually go over towards garden, especially with that pinch coming through. It's a race down market,
30 seconds
and now
left.
over to tree. Only 1 player left. Last time around, it was Avery on this A site, managing to find the 3K to save the round there for the side of Ghost Gaming. They'll be waiting for the rest of the cavalry to get towards A this
Spike
time around
planted.
instead. Paranoia still available.
And a flash available for Edith. Avery is already clearing out some of the backside of the site. Miara able to find 1 through glass. That is crucial because now the Odin could try to spam out hell. If it wants to, at least. Slandy down low. Sees the dark cover sent and also catches the bow of the Sova. Edith responds with the trade, but now Melia's on the flank. And how would you ever predict this? Has Avery seen it though? Yes, they have. And what a bounce back for Ghost Gaming after being split up by the 100 Thieves hit through mid. They recover, they find the elims and tie us at 2.
You gotta give credit to Slandy, though, for that play. The peak was perfect. Nearly a 3K there as well. A great attempt out of the IGL on the side of 100 Thieves, but Ghost Gaming, they had the numbers advantage in that retake scenario and played it beautifully. Good reads again. And good patience that time around from Avery, too. You could tell the 100 Thieves were kind of worried about their presence, lurking around that site, potentially hiding over towards Hell, and they play a little bit more disciplined, ensuring that they can play with the remainder of the team. And the same conditioning over towards A main with the stack over at that B side here. Shock Dart's still not able to get these trips down early on with how deep they're being placed. So much damage being done already by those shocks coming out from Miara.
I was just about to say, that's some feel-bad opening utility if you're 100 Thieves fan. Just kind of throwing this round a little further out of consideration. But still lots of time, minute 5 on the clock. The only issue is there's just not a lot of ground to work with right now if you're 100 Thieves. Like, yeah, you've got Melia as kind of a pivot point, sort of, at mid, but this is more just looking to see if Ghost will walk back through Catwalk and find a free first blood there, but you're gonna have to create something here if you're Thieves.
Trying to see if they can take any sort of timing, but look how deadly both of those sites look to hit, right? Sound sensors on A, the trips for the push on B.
Good predicted paranoia. Kataris will find the decoy, and whoa, a little bit more, but Jazz responds.
30 seconds left.
So now you've got an opportunity to try to force something. The Annihilation catches Avery. Hold on a second. You've got a heavy stack. Do they hear the footsteps? Maybe not as much as you would have liked to, but still the spam comes through. Keeps the numbers and the weaponry largely in control for Ghost. The other issue here for 100 Thieves is they don't have a lot of time. You need to find these eliminations, but it's not going to happen. Jazz is the last one left. There was a window there for 100 Thieves, but it was largely shut by the game clock.
I also think just maybe overstaying their welcome there in market. I saw the vision, right? They're looking to cut off the rotation from that B site, maybe take one of those players down, but everyone they weren't quite able to all hold the same angle, a little bit staggered, and that mid play then falls apart when B site was open for the taking. A nice attempt and idea, but not too much you can do, and Miara's also like spraying down with the Odin over towards market. Like, you try to move an inch and you're gonna get your head absolutely ripped off. But again, neck and neck. I feel like Ghost Gaming, though, you've really got to give the fact that they've gotten these 3 rounds in a row, 100 Thieves, unable to find anything after those initial 2.
But in full purchase here in round 6 with a Hunter's Fury, close to a Dimensional Drift on the other side. That is actually ready for Edith, who connects for first blood onto Jazz, who has been unreal this first half for 100 Thieves. Has been the elimination leader for the attack, but will be put out of commission early, and we'll have a 5v4 with a lot of tools available for Ghost.
Smoke down. Lydia still over towards A main, but you can see how ready Ghosts are with this trap play as well. Avery might be the one jump spotting, but it's also that paranoia that you've got to worry about there as well, right? A great bait coming out of Lydia. Annihilation no longer an issue.
And a little bit of damage, knowing that you've got the Omen playing over in towards Wine. Melia lurking. Hunter's Fury trying to get this initial elimination to Avery. And it will connect, but not just once, but twice. And now Melia can step up. Watch the rotations out of B. It's working perfectly for 100 Thieves, who now have a wide open A site for a plant.
At this point, it's just going to be a safe scenario, right? You look at the money situation on the side of Ghost Gaming, and sure, they have found a lot of success in the last 3 rounds, but it's also been a lot of reinvestments. 100 Thieves haven't let those slip away easily and have done some of that economical damage. And when you've got 2 weapons like the Operator, like the Odin, that are so hefty of purchases, you don't want to be letting those go here.
Yeah, and that felt like a really steep gamble for Ghost Gaming. Knowing you're playing into a Hunter's Fury, you're playing for contact at A, hoping and maybe even trying to, kind of rely on the fact that the Annihilation was going to find something. But the problem was there was really no one there. Lydia just teleports away from the Annihilation, and all of a sudden, Avery just kind of gets stuck and can't get out. There wasn't enough help nearby, or just didn't commit to, teleporting in their own right to get away from what was I would have thought, a very anticipated Hunter's Fury. But I think the big miracle in it is it doesn't just hit once, it hits twice and gets 100 Thieves back to a 3-3 game.
Really nicely done in that pinch, and all of that initially facilitated by Lydia's presence over at A to start things off. Operator now has actually shifted over towards this A side. We've seen that conditioning that's been done consistently from the A players of Ghost Gaming.
This is a bold walk up. Doesn't work. Lydia, no gun in hand initially, still able to respond to at least take this into a 4v4 early. And with all the numbers that 100 Thieves see at A, they're saying, let's get aggressive, take mid for free. Aerial does have a spy cam to scout this out. Gets a tag, I believe, onto one, but will not slow down this 100 Thieves offense, which now has 4 players surrounding the B site.
They know 2 are on B as well, with that Odin revealing the fact that you've got the Sova alongside.
Oh, it's just Mixie. Marceline finds one. Here was the teleport back into the site, though, for Avery. Melia converts onto Miara. Flash avoided by Avery, but hit with the grab net. Able to find the first. Tries to delete the dart, but not going to happen in the rotation. Not able to get there to help either. So 100 Thieves now in the lead again, 4-3 up.
I like how both those teams played the end of that round there as well. It was a great pivot and increase in tempo to hit over towards that B site, knowing that they were trying to take one of those timings, especially after Lydia goes down, when you don't have those smokes to play with to cut off those lines and try and beat one of the rotations. And then you had Ghost, the investment of Avery's from the shadows, trying to be that support over at B, but the crunch was really nicely done with how 100 Thieves respond with their utility now onto the back foot, these Sheriffs. Again, we saw it on Lotus. A lot of those crazy thrifty rounds that were coming to fruition that just should not have gone their way from both of these teams.
And the punish of the pistol rounds continuing going to 100 Thieves just, again, restricts Ghost's freedoms. Especially on this half where 100 Thieves have been so dominant. Teleport into site. Spike has not made its way on yet. Edith trying to hunt, search, find something over towards free side. Do they try to commit to play through the door? No, not going to happen. Denied, and that will be 100 Thieves now securing a plant into just what is a 4v5 against pistols. A little bit of an elevated play for Lydia, works out for another to make matters worse. And for Ghost, this is just about seeing if you can create a little bit of something out of nothing.
Yeah, you got a late wrap in the tree there as well from Melia. There isn't really anything that they can do. A 4K and a flawless round here for 100 Thieves as they find themselves back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of a confidence boosting round right there from Marceline too. Just kind of in the firing range there at the end. Headshot after headshot. 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves? The ones that are going to call timeout? No, I was going to say... Guys, it's going really well. How can we do it better? No, Ghost Gaming the ones calling timeout here. And desperately need to put something together. You've got a couple of great tools, though. I mean, your full weapons, but more importantly, Dimensional Drift and Hunter's Fury at the ready.
Most definitely. Hey, I mean, there are teams that like to call those timeouts when they're up, you know, just to... Sometimes people get a little too hyped. Maybe you need to calm down a little bit so the next round isn't as crazy, or even just to really cement their strategy going forward. I think for Ghost Gaming, though, the thing is, when 100 Thieves have so much comfort on Ascent, have had so much success on this map with this composition, they're also going to know exactly how they're trying to pick apart the mirror comp on the other side of Ghost Gaming, where they haven't had as many of those dominant results, have struggled a little bit more to actually find those wins here on Ascent. And it's up to them to take those learning points, right? I think 100 Thieves, with their defaults, they've done great to just like contest some of the conditioning that Ghost Gaming have been doing, especially over towards that A side. And you've had a lot of great lurking presence from Melia as well for that mid-round calling, allowing those pivots for 100 Thieves to come through, and then also finding those openings, keeping some of those rotations away from the other side of the map.
Yeah, it really has just been, you know, heat mapping over the top of the minimap. 100 Thieves have done better, I think, at just controlling and possessing some of the rotation spots. But here's something a little bit different. Opening Hunter's Fury going to come through. Marceline stepping up, kind of predicting this play through mid, but it's sloppy. Edith able to find the first. Now the follow-up flash comes through. Melia gets one in response, but not enough as Ghost will push through the B site, find their clearance, and, well, you'd say, okay, we're going to isolate the play at A, but Aerial can't stay alive. And we got ourselves a 3v3 post plant for 100 Thieves.
There's not much Aerial can do there. When you've got, like, Slandy laying down suppressing fire through a wooden box and you've got nowhere else to go, it's just about doomed, right? But a 2v3 here for Ghost Gaming into this retake. You've got the drones for drones coming out here as well. Hell cleared out at the very least. They feel pretty confident in thinking that the majority of the attackers there are towards B main, one tucked on site.
Yeah, that's almost a facepalm right there for Ghost Gaming. Talk more about that in a moment as they still are alive in this round. Avery making sure of that, but Miara will not be able to get the spike diffused to halfway. And Avery on 10 HP is not going to have a chance to get back on it. So kind of talking about that little bit of a facepalm, I mean, you set up a perfect kind of counter execution here for Ghost Gaming off the timeout. Yes, there is a trade that comes through for 100 Thieves, but you essentially successfully hit what you called. The problem is you still can't stop 100 Thieves from finding an open site, and that's just one of those that I think Ariel's going to want back, saying, I probably don't need to chow that once we win that mid battle, but such is life, such is the way it goes.
I think the idea was really nice, though. The crunch over towards tiles, you had the aggression over at B main coming out from Kataris, and then the 2 or 3 players over at mid crunching over in tiles as well. It just is a little bit difficult when 100 Thieves have been leaning heavily into that default. Different look this time around as they look to move with like a pack, knowing that they are at that weapons advantage here against Ghost.
Edith was trying to hunt out some of the noise that was being made at mid. Cannot find anything with the Sheriff. Aldrone scouting B main. This will give the defense an idea of where they need to keep their focus. It'll be purely on these mid-market doors for now. Spycam still above this play as Miara's going to connect at least the torso of Marceline, who's still finding headshots. And Edith trying to follow behind the play will also be caught. So 100 Thieves looking good for 7. Especially if Lydia can continue just to dance with both players here at mid. And yeah, it'll just be Kataris with a Spectre. You don't figure that this will end in a 1v5 clutch.
My ult is ready.
No, it would be pretty miraculous. A lot of mistakes would have to come out of the side of 100 Thieves for that one to come through. Amelia is not even going to give that, allow that to be an opportunity that it leaves the tip of our tongues, realistically. Now a 4-round lead on the side of 100 Thieves. And again, we have to remind you guys at home that 100 Thieves currently have like what, a 71% win rate on when it comes down to those attacking rounds here for Ascent during stage 2. They are so comfortable with it. You can see it. A lot of those quick pivots, they're ready for a lot of the trap plays that Ghost Gaming have set up for them as well, and are more than happy to make that quick adjustment, respond with utility of their own, and try again to catch them off guard with that tempo, with that positioning.
And from here on out, for round 11 and round 12, I hate to make the most basic elementary conversation commentary come through, but if you're Ghost Gaming, you need to get to 5, and there's no way you do that outside of just being the better team here, because the economy, the ultimates are all fine for 100 Thieves. So you need to find something. Ghost's going to step up and try to play for the ult orb, and that's just about as much of a recap as you need in terms of trying to put some sort of a synopsis on how this first half has gone, as Ghost Gaming cannot get anything off the ground.
Idiots. Decoy.
No, just maybe a potential hero play to come through here from Edith. It's not going to happen, though. Marceline to take their head off, and now having control given over as well. And look how late Melia is over at tiles. Like, and the fact that Ariel is ready for it as well. Like, they're so aware of how Melia is trying to rat around and cause all of like these issues for them. And for Melia, obviously looking for some of those picks to catch the weapons out at the very least on the side of Ghost. And now it's only up to maybe 1 rifle to be saved over into the next round here.
Yeah, that's tough scenes. There's going to be some availability just with the dimensional drift and the annihilation for Ghost Gaming to still provide, well, some kill potential, but now you're going to have essentially nothing. At best, it's going to be some SMGs, shotguns.
Last round before the switch.
Not great news. So 100 Thieves looking pretty solid to drop 9 on the first half of Ghost after, again, just kind of narrowly missing out on what very well could have been a map 1 win for 100 Thieves as well. This has been a significant course correction, though, and just like we've seen through the Switch stage, sheer dominance start to finish for 100 Thieves.
Hey, there's a reason why it's their best map, and they're absolutely showing it right now. We'll give Ghost Gaming the fact that defense is the half they tend to struggle with here on Ascent, but now you've got the dimensional drift play coming out here from Marceline in combination with the Hunter's Fury here as well, with that spotting, and it's just nothing that these Ghost players can keep a hold of here on this B site.
That's clinic right there. I mean, that is how you do it. Dimensional drift to get you the clearance, then you follow up with Ghost just breaking down on the site itself. Edith is able to at least find 1 with the Judge and get out, but still a 4v3 where annihilations are ready for both sides.
Yeah. It's definitely getting scary in that regard.
Well, Avery gonna try to scout things out, and wait a second. Melia gets caught. Annihilations will try to trade. Can Avery find more? Sure can. But Jazz Slandy able to finish things off, and Edith will fall in the cocoon for a 9-3 half for Thieves.
I was almost a
Switching
believer
sides.
there. Like, we've seen Avery do it before, but a 9-3 half, like you were saying here, in favor of 100 Thieves. For Ghost Gaming, they need this pistol round. So far, 100 Thieves have been able to pick up every single pistol in this best of 3 series. It sets them up nicely for the beginning of the half, but man, for Ghost, it's a must need, right? They want to try and take this the distance here on Ascent, try and end it in a 2-0, otherwise we'll be heading over to Bind.
Yeah, I think just based on how that, well, you see it, straight up, 7 rounds in a row go for 100 Thieves. All the stuff that looked like maybe Ghost Gaming was going to be able to battle up, winning the bonus, and then the follow-up gun round, it's like, all right, we got some, some decent work going through, but it's just the execution on the defensive half, just trying to get proactive, just does not really work out fully for him. So you're absolutely right here, Ash. Ghost would have to win this pistol, you'd think.
And a very similar play to what we saw out of the defense pistol of Ghost Gaming as well. That early mid control coming in, a different look at it, that is for certain. All 5 players of Ghost trying to break through B main.
Wow. That is a great follow-up grab in combination with the shock darts. Tons of damage sent to Ghost Gaming, whereas 100 Thieves are still fully healthy. Now, Ghost will work their way onto site, but with the health pools the way they are, you need to start hitting some headshots here on this retake. And it's not looking all that great. Nope, not at all. 100 Thieves still very healthy, very full in this 5-man approach. Smokes will fade. Aerial gets caught looking at some recon darts. It is just lambs to the slaughter. A flawless pistol for 100 Thieves to get to double digits.
You were talking about it earlier, a clinical round from 100 Thieves. I think it's just been a clinical ascent so far. The utility has been perfect. The flawless round, like we were talking about here, to earn that 10th one for 100 Thieves, and a much-needed pistol slipping out of the hands of Ghost Gaming. The combinations have been great coming out of 100 Thieves, like the grab net, shock dart combo that we saw over towards B main. Just so much value coming in, and they're really moving like a unit. And Ghost Gaming, they're trying to replicate that as well. We do see those moments where the spacing is great, but it feels like in the utility trades, 100 Thieves have absolutely come out on top.
That is a really good evaluation. I mean, there have been some moments where just gunfights have not gone the way of Ghost, but yeah, I think on the macro level, the understanding of this composition has been far superior for 100 Thieves. Cyber Cage is out. Decoy will reveal that there is a judge in waiting. Edith pushing forward, takes care of it, but Marceline on the crossfire. How good has Marceline been since being brought back into this match? How about an ace? Welcome into the match. Decoy out in the corner. Marceline will find the iBUYPOWER ace and likely light the candle here as we try to finish off map 2.
Yeah, Marceline didn't even need a second to warm up heading into Ascent. Coming back in after we had Misu subbing in on map 1 on Lotus, and she is not here to play. That is for certain. Just insane stuff from 100 Thieves, and you can see like the manner in which they're playing right now as well. They feel so confident about how this map is just going to, you know, end off in a 13, whatever the score may be. And for Ghost Gaming, they definitely haven't taken their foot off the pedal. But I think idea-wise, we've definitely seen them run a little bit more dry.
I'll say. Definitely a bit of a mismatch.
Shadows traveling.
And in that force buy territory, Ghosts will just not be able to afford much. So again, the probabilities continue to tilt and shift to the heavy favorites of 100 Thieves on this map. Got to create something here if you're Ghost. Opening trade, serviceable. Gravnet, able to just, or pardon me, the very much to block off towards Glass. Miara follows up the 1-3 mid on that flank attempt, but they don't anticipate that Jazz is in the picture. So numbers will stay even, but weapon superiority continues to be held by 100 Thieves.
TP over towards this A site here as well, and Marceline manages to see the shoulder. No, for Ghost Gaming, it's about trying to regroup over towards A main.
30 seconds left.
Rotation here for Aerial with only 25 seconds left on the clock. The second that she gets over here.
Could be a chance to isolate. As Marceline will make their way over towards Streak, or will
One
close.
enemy remaining.
And Jazz will step up. Spam through the cyber cage for another. So Miara, maybe just a consolation prize here with the plant. And that will be the case. 100 Thieves very quickly on the map point, trying to get us to bind in the blink of an eye.
Jazzikin's also just scaling up so quickly to another annihilation here for her as well. It's definitely been a clinical map for 100 Thieves. Nothing like the Lotus that we saw to start our day off, right? This evening was like a nail biter with that 13-10. They were trading rounds a lot more comfortably. But right now, for Ghost Gaming, I think losing out on that round in particular is especially difficult. They do have the full purchase to come in, considering that investment that did come out in round 14 to try and make it a little bit closer. Dimensional Drift could definitely be a silver...
Cover going out.
Sorry, I was going to say Dimensional Drift could be a silver lining for them. That is on the other team. Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at 20-6 for Marceline and 16-3 for Jazz. It has just been as one-sided as you could possibly anticipate. So with a potential win condition, or at least a bonus in having the Dimensional Drift, 100 Thieves feeling pretty saucy about closing this thing out 13-3. Barrier match placed and then instantly deleted. Lydia still holding in the corner. Some noise trying to pull some of this back over, at least directionally, to the front side. Chance to try to push out, but 100 Thieves will instead find first blood on the other side of the map for Melia.
But look at this read. It's so good. The call already being made for Slandies for the rest of the team to have that 3-stack over towards this B site, anticipating the rotation, especially after the barrier mesh goes over towards Tree, not leaving further options here for Ghost Gaming in this potential final round.
Decoy.
100 Thieves going to back up, put themselves in arches behind B. Push up from Marceline, able to find one and a lot of damage on another. Pistol out as Jazz will follow the initial outlaw shot, and then Lydia will not allow Miara to go anywhere. Woof. That was about as dominant as I think we would have expected.